Okay, guys, welcome to another project, another day. This is the 5th through 8th grade lesson on Paul Cezanne, and we are going to be painting a landscape today. And I want everybody to choose a scene or a mountain or just some sort of a landscape background that you can paint, and it'll be a really fun project. Okay, so I'm going with this photograph that I took that you saw earlier from Mile High, and it was a great hike that I took with my friends, and I just love what I saw, so I've been inspired to paint, and you can see me scrolling into that picture right there. And I'm going to do a quick sketch of the bowl there. It goes all the way from blacktail to round top to significant, magnificent, Tucker, and then to the Mile High saddle. And I have yet to do that hike, but at some point in my life, I would love to. Just need the time. So go ahead and start sketching out those images. And I've got my son Gus here. He is going to be doing this painting as well. So you can see that a 10-year-old and through my age can do this painting. It's pretty easy. It's just getting the composition down first. And Gus is going to pick a different composition as soon as I'm done drawing mine. He'll put his down and he'll start his sketch. Okay, so we're just going to go over the supply list real quick. I just have the same palette that I have in the classroom, and it's just an ice cube tray that I bought from Walmart, and I filled it with a bunch of paints, and it's great because it keeps all of the colors separate. And I just teach the kids proper brush etiquette, which means just to dip their brushes into the paints, use them, clean them, unless you're doing the double loading technique, which we actually do quite a bit of here. So I'm just going to show you quick. And this method of painting, like Cezanne, it's very painterly. The painting uses a medium-sized flat brush. You can use round brushes to get into the uh, tips of the mountaintops, but to paint like Cezanne, I really think that you're using a flat brush to get that technique. And I'm just making crisscross brush strokes with my brush, and I'm actually double loading paint with the blue and the white so I can get a good mix of that color. Okay, we're going to move on to the next step, which is choosing colors for our foreground and the middle ground there. So we're going to look at this picture that Gus has out here, and I'm trying to explain to him the lessons in tonal value. So if you were to look at this picture, it's kind of hard to see with my light. I'm going to have my husband turn it off. Ah, perfect. Okay, so if you look at this picture here, you can see that the mountain that is closest up is the darkest in color, and then as you go back into space, you see it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter until you reach the mountains that are farthest off into the distance, and those are the lightest mountains that you see here in this composition. So, and then it blends into the sky almost. So we're going to keep that in mind when we start choosing our colors for our mountains. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to kind of go with a abstract look. I'm not going to make them look like snowy mountains. I'm going to use bright colors, and I don't know what Gus is going to choose for his mountains, but I think it's going to be fun. So keep that in mind. Remember that Cezanne used bold colors. So have fun with this part of the project, guys. Okay, I just want to take a moment to look at this painting by Paul Cezanne, and you can get a kind of an idea as to what sort of style that we're going for. There's a lot of choppy brushstrokes in here. He uses a lot of color. And one of the techniques that we're going to use, it's almost like using a palette knife, but we're going to use just simple household supplies that I got from home, which is just cardboard. It's corrugated here. So there's some corrugated cardboard. There's just some flat cardboard. And this is really tiny, and I actually cut it into angles. So that way you can use this, you know, to scrape on different angles. And I also have this tool here. It's just a foam brush. I think you can get these at Fred Meyer or wherever. They're pretty cheap too. But you can take this and use this to get into like the mountain areas that are angled. But we're basically just going to be pulling the color across the same way we did with the background here. And then we're going to go back with the background and use chalk pastels to enhance the color. But I wanted everybody to see the style that we're trying to go for. And when we're finished with the project, then we're going to go back with black paint, and we're going to make the black lines more defined. You can see that. And you can see how Paul Cezanne paved the way for the Cubist movement, but he definitely paved the way for artists like Pablo Picasso. So we're gonna get started on our painting now. So, and also, if you have some flat paintbrushes, they work good too for areas that are small that you wanna pull color with. So have a couple of those on hand as well. Okay, we're gonna get to it. Okay, we're moving on to the final step of our project. This has been so much fun, but I want to bring out this optional medium. It's just chalk pastels. Again, you can get these at Walmart or Fred Meyer on your shopping list. They're pretty inexpensive, and they come in a variety of different colors. But I use these a lot on top of acrylic paints. It just adds an added layer of texture to the painting that makes it look really appealing. And I usually have the kids use, when they're using chalk pastels, have them use the side of the chalk pastel or the square part. I don't usually have them, um, scrub like that on the painting using the corner, just because it really doesn't do much for the painting other than make a lot of chalky mess. So I'll have them use also a little bit of oil pastel if they want to kind of start outlining the mountains, and where they separate. You can see how Gus is moving back into his composition and adding with, I think he's using oil pastel. Yeah, he's using oil pastel on this part here. He's just adding the dark lines to make the final composition pop, where you can see actually where the mountains actually go back into space. I'm also going to use some black acrylic paint. So if you don't want to use chalk pastel or oil pastel to create those outlines, just get your small paintbrush, or you could use this foam um, brush as well, or you could use the side of the cardboard, which I'm going to use here in this part. I'll just show you a couple different techniques on how it's done. But you can use the side of the cardboard. You can use the actual foam brush. You can use a small liner paintbrush, dip it in black paint, and just start creating those outlines. And Gus is using the oil pastel. And after we're done with that, then I might take my chalk pastels and just add some additional colors onto the painting just to give it an extra flair.